All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover. Apologies for my voice. I'm still recovering from laryngitis, so hopefully you can bear with me. But the first set of topics that we're covering has to do with the PlayStation Showcase. This is what everybody is eagerly anticipating. We know apparently that there is supposed to be a PlayStation Showcase happening in May, but it hasn't been announced yet. Hopefully it's not announced as I'm recording this and uploading it, but we do have some new info here that might let us know what is happening behind the scenes and why maybe the announcement is taking a little bit longer. First, we have Sony announcing its corporate strategy meeting for May 22nd. Now, this is relevant to the showcase because if I'm not mistaken, last year, Sony did their corporate strategy meeting, and almost immediately after, that's when they announced the showcase. This corporate strategy meeting is exactly what it sounds like. It's Sony, talking to the investors and the shareholders and revealing their strategy. I'm actually really interested to learn what Sony's going to say in this corporate strategy meeting, because they did confirm that they're going to kind of lay out a long-term plan and their long-term strategy, and I think people are really curious to know about that. But we also have another insider, that being Nate Drake, over on the Reset Era forums. He comes in and basically is answering some questions for people. The question is Sony still hosting a showcase in May? And he simply replies, Sony still likes May. So this is another reliable insider, just kind of letting everybody know it's still happening this month. So again, we're going to want to pay close attention to next week when Sony has this corporate strategy meeting, because it's very likely that if this showcase is happening this month, it's going to be announced right around that time. But we are going to move on to the next topic here, which talks about a new Sony job ad that suggests the PlayStation 6 might have an ARM CPU. This is being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle. A new Sony Interactive Entertainment job advertisement has some fans convinced that PS6's CPU will likely be ARM-based. The job is for system software development and will task the incumbent with ensuring that games and programs are compatible across different architectures. ARM processors have seen rapid advancement, with major companies including Microsoft and Apple opting for custom ARM-based chips. In fact, there have been rumblings that the next Xbox will be switching from x86 to ARM. During last year's court showdown between Microsoft and the FTC, a number of internal documents ended up leaking. One of those documents was a Microsoft presentation which suggested the company is entertaining the idea of building a next-gen based ARM architecture. So this is something that we do have to understand. It's not confirming it necessarily. It just seems to be insinuating that this may be what Sony is striving for. But we have a somewhat of a follow-up to this, where being reported by WCCF Tech, it says Sony may be gearing up to return to the handheld market with a new PlayStation Portable that will be capable of running PlayStation 4 games, according to rumors circulating online. As reported on the Reset Era forums, Russian journalist Anton Logvinov, who was among the first ones to confirm PlayStation exclusives would be coming to PC years before the official confirmation, he revealed on Telegram that the Japanese company is working on a new PSP capable of playing PS4 games. This isn't the first time we've heard about Sony working on a new PlayStation Portable system. In February, Moore's Law is Dead talked about how Sony is actually already working behind the scenes on a new handheld, a dedicated handheld that is capable of running PS4 games and maybe some select PS5 games. So the question really is this the same system, right? Is this the same thing between these two sources here? And what does this have to do with the PlayStation 6 job listing and an ARM CPU? Well, I don't necessarily know that there are tethers between these two, but what it does seem to indicate is that Sony is planning to do some very different things potentially with the next generation of PlayStation. And so with the PlayStation 6, we could see Sony do some very different and potentially unique things. And the fact that we are getting some evidence here that they are apparently working on a dedicated handheld that's going to run PS4 games and maybe some PS5 games. Yeah, we could definitely see a different type of PlayStation generation with the PlayStation 6 and this new handheld. So just kind of wanted to report this to you guys. We now have two sources claiming that a dedicated handheld is in the works at Sony, and we're also hearing that the PlayStation 6 might have an ARM CPU. So let me know your thoughts about that down below. But we're moving to the next topic, which is a new PlayStation 5 game that has officially leaked out. So this is being reported by Insider Gaming. Tom Henderson says LEGO and PlayStation are developing a new game named LEGO Horizon Adventures. Last week, trademark finder Kurakasis tweeted that Sony and LEGO were soon to announce a collaboration of a well-known IP. At the time, they revealed the game, but as what seems to be obligatory from insiders these days, it was a vague tweet that just simply said a project was on the horizon. Speaking with sources, it was said that the game is essentially Horizon Forbidden West, but LEGO, and that the game will have realistic graphics, whatever that means for a LEGO game. While the exact details of the game are unclear, I got wind of an advertisement trailer for the game, which was completed last month. This suggests that an announcement is on its way, but of course, he doesn't know for sure. He's just saying he knows that the trailer is done and completed. And so, yeah, by this point, it seems like it pretty much fully leaked out, except for the actual trailer itself. There is a LEGO Horizon game that's apparently going to be announced at this upcoming PlayStation showcase. And I find it interesting the way it's being described, Horizon Forbidden West, but LEGO. I mean, is that like literally, is this just literally a LEGO version of Horizon Forbidden West? Is it maybe the rumored multiplayer game? It's worth noting that this Horizon multiplayer game that Guerrilla talked about and officially confirmed they were working on, they did say in their official post that it will have a stylized art style and art direction. Could this be what they meant? But they just simply couldn't say, oh, by stylized, we mean LEGO. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's going to be an interesting and fascinating announcement, and I'm curious what you guys think of this. Does a LEGO Horizon game sound appealing to you, or does it seem like something that's just not going to pique your interest whatsoever, and it's going to be just kind of like, okay, there's the announcement, let's move on? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. Moving on to the next topic, we are talking about Summer Game Fest. PlayStation will officially be at Summer Game Fest. Being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, Summer Game Fest has revealed the publishers and studios appearing at the June 7th event. 55 partners are participating, including big names like Sony and Xbox, and smaller players like Devolver Digital and Annapurna Interactive. So yeah, Summer Game Fest sounds like it's going to be packed this year. 55 partners is a lot. So to me, this seemingly confirms it's going to be another long Jeff Keighley show. We know how Jeff Keighley likes to do these things. We're talking about a probably 2.5 hour show. However, it is nice to know that PlayStation will officially be there. Now, I have seen some people saying that, well, if Sony is confirmed to be part of Summer Game Fest, then I guess this means they're not actually doing a showcase, in May because, well, they're going to be at a different event. Not necessarily. This is exactly what Sony did last year. They had a showcase in May, and then they did show up at Summer Game Fest with a reveal for Spider-Man 2, specifically the release date and some new concept art. So, or I think it was new concept art. But yeah, they did at the very least reveal the release date. And so, yeah, it seems like Sony's maybe going to do the exact same thing this year, where they're going to have a dedicated showcase. That's where they're going to reveal most of what they have, but they're going to save a little something for Jeff Keighley for Summer Game Fest. I think it's a pretty smart way of doing it. So let me know if you're planning on tuning in. I will be streaming it. We're moving on to the next set of topics, which talks once again about more Xbox games making their way to PlayStation. The first report here comes from Push Square, where they're saying that apparently inside of Microsoft, the corporate side is pushing for a no red line situation with Xbox games. In other words, they are seemingly pushing to to make it so that nothing is off limits when it comes to games they will bring to PlayStation. They say here a new report suggests that Microsoft's big boss Satya Nadella wants to bring more Xbox games to PlayStation as soon as possible. With the instant success of Sea of Thieves on Sony's platform, it was also apparently considered a key test. It seems like the writing is on the wall at this point. Microsoft leadership reportedly wants there to be a no red line, nothing at all stopping the company's most valuable IP, like Halo and Gears of War, from coming to competing platforms. That's according to Windows Central's Jez Corden. He's reporting that the operation is known internally as Latitude, so they actually named this strategy, which is interesting. I think it just goes to show that this is actually a long-term strategy. And it says here this operation plans to bring more Xbox IP to PlayStation and Nintendo, which is part of Satya Nadella and CFO Amy Hood's mandate to increase the margins in every department. The plan pushed by Microsoft leadership intends to push for everything coming over and to aggressively pursue this initiative. But apparently, Jez Corden is also reporting that inside of Microsoft, or what I would assume it would be on the Xbox side of things, there seems to be some debate and unease as to whether or not this is a good idea or not. So there does seem to be some kind of pushback internally. We don't know where this is coming from, if it's maybe Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond or Matt Booty. It's hard to say, but there are apparently individuals within Microsoft that, are trying to essentially, I don't know if using the term stop Satya Nadella and Amy Hood from doing this, but at the very least make them kind of, hesitate a little bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this goes down. But we also have another insider report that claims more Xbox games are actually going to ship on PS5 this holiday. Again, from PlayStation Lifestyle, a known leaker has teased that some Xbox exclusive games will be making the jump to PS5 as soon as holiday 2024. Microsoft hasn't officially detailed its plans going forward, but its leadership continues to suggest that more games are on their way to other platforms. The leaker in question is Reset Era user, once again, Nate Drake, who is considered pretty reliable. In response to a recent report that Microsoft executives don't have any red line in terms of which Xbox games will release on PlayStation, Nate Drake said that some of those games could be coming as soon as holiday 2024. There have been rumblings of Starfield being the next game to release on PS5, and although it's likely that we'll see that happen, Nate Drake suggested that it won't be one of the games actually coming this year. I've heard of other games coming to PS5, and they could be during the holiday season of this year, but I'm working to confirm the games and the release windows. So yeah, I mean, seeing these reports coming out, and especially the one that talks about games coming out this year, it really does seem like this is just something that's going to continue rapidly within Microsoft, even though there is a little bit of unease and trepidation. The bottom line is Sea of Thieves did very, very well on PlayStation and likely made Microsoft a lot of money. So when that is laid out on the table, I don't think there's really much that anybody, inside of Microsoft, I don't think there's much that they can say to stop this. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this. But the final topic of the day talks briefly about GTA 6 and how Take-Two Interactive has officially confirmed that they are shooting for a fall 2025 release for GTA 6. So it's, maybe not the most surprising, but I think some people were wondering if maybe, Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar were aiming for an early 2025 release or a mid 2025 release. No, it's going to be a big fall game. And man, you have to imagine that after this news came out, every single AAA video game company who has games in development targeting a fall 2025 release probably, a little bit panicked, thinking they might have to adjust their course here and change their release windows, because man, you do not want to launch your game anywhere near GTA 6. I think that kind of goes without saying, but yeah, we know that the PS5 Pro is coming out apparently this November. So it sounds like Rockstar Games is going to have basically a whole year to work with the PS5 Pro hardware before they drop this game. So it's going to be really interesting, to see how this game ends up performing on the Pro. But yeah, fall 2025, there you go. If there's any game that's going to come out that's really going to truly reinvigorate the home console market, it's going to be this game. So That's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.